everyone, this is Natnarf signing back in and welcome back to True Remembrance. Okay, the last time we left, excuse me, love and time with the dollar. What the heck? No, I just want to close. And I hope that nothing strange would come on this. Yeah, you know your customer well. Well, yeah, of course. Sash, she's quite the looker, and actually, something kind of odd about her. See? He trailed up at this point and went on polishing mugs, staring at the door all the while. No matter what I said or did, I couldn't get him to say anything further. Great. We got back to our place shortly before sunset. La and I were busy making dinner when there was a knock at our door. Now, La had her hands full, literally, with a burger meat, so I went to see who it was. I looked at the people, and sure enough, there was someone standing there. I opened the door a crack. Is this the woman's residence of Black Iris, the Menominee side? I came to thank you for finding him, my dog, a few days ago. For someone who lost track of dogs and envelopes on a regular basis, she was really rather punctual. I opened the door, the rest of the way. Sure enough, there Jackal was, along with the young woman I'd bumped into in Dorobo. Her face stiffened when she saw me. Maybe it was surprise, maybe it was something else. Anyway, she took a step back and gave me a look that was closer to glare than anything. But La came rushing out to the fire before she or I could say anything any further. The woman opened her mouth to say something, but snapped it shut when she saw La coming towards her. So you're Jackal's master. Isn't that wonderful, Jackal? Aren't you happy to be with her again? La squatted down to bring herself face to face to the dog. Then she looked up at our guest and inquired, "May I pet him?" "Oh, of course. He'd love it." The woman finally let a smile creep onto her face. She handed over the leash to La, who took it gladly. Jackal, on the other hand, started jumping around and licking La's licks. Even more gladly, obviously, he remembered who she was and who she is. That tickles. When she turned back to me after watching La and Jackal frolic about, there was no hint of iciness left in her eyes anymore. "My name's Lips. I am in the Mono side. I am here to thank you for taking care of Jackal when he needed it most. So if there's anything I can do for you, please," she said with a voice as clear as a winter sky. She bowed deeply and her long hair spilled over her shoulders, and she did so. "Oh no, we didn't do much. If one thinks someone, go see Roke. The guy who operates Aroma. Oh yes, I've already done so. Oh, and here. I didn't have any idea how to thank you, so I brought you some sweets." Sweets! Lips held out a nicely wrapped package. For a moment, I had no idea whether I should accept it or not, but for a moment also, I took the box. Well then, I'd best be off. And that's exactly what she would have done and had La not stopped her. "Wait! Lips! Would you stay for a while?" "You forgot the envelope." "Okay with you, Blackers?" I wonder why she's asking me at all. This was her place as well. Obviously. I nodded anyway. La looked happy about it. "You haven't eaten yet, correct?" "Oh God, sorry." "Here to have dinner with us?" "What?" "I'm also love to play with Jackal some more. May I?" "It's always about the dog! It's always about the dog! You cheeky little kid, it's always about the dog." "Then I'd love to." "Why are you all going like that? Maybe we should have him also doing the hand in the air like a cat. Now all of you like cats." "Thank you very much." She wiped her feet on the mat. Actually, Jackal came bounding up and immediately his master as well. And came on in. And La, well, she was proving herself to be quite the host. She led Lips to a chair, brought her a nice cup of tea, and then went back into the kitchen and get the dinner done. This left Lips and me alone together in the living room. She looked at me every once in a while, obviously. There was something she wanted to say, but I ignored all of that. After the cooking was done and the table was set, we took our seats. Lips looked totally amazed by the multi-course banquet that had been laid out in front of her. Great. Oh, wow. Exactly. Oh, wow. Then everyone starts smiling. "Please start!" "You made all this. I didn't think I got your name." "La." "No, not at all. Black Iris helped too." "No, wait. More like he did everything, and I helped him." A few weeks ago, that would have been true. Now, it was a lie. Though La had turned herself into an extremely good cook in the meantime. She'd come a long way too. At the very first, it was dangerous to even let her handle a knife. But now she basically ran the kitchen. Oh wow, I'm looking forward to this. I haven't eaten home cooking for such a long time now. Lips said with a gentle shrug. I just beat at her. After dinner, we had coffee and the sweets that Lips brought us. Why are you called Lips? Is it something to do with talking? Or kiss? Well, actually, I was the only one eating. Lips and La were too busy playing with Jackal to be doing much of anything else. Lips! You're Nominicide, correct? Oh yes, of course. Wait, aren't you one as well? No, she's my guest. I completed the sentence for her, as she didn't look like she was able to get that out. Great. Lips turned to look at me for a moment. Obviously, this was surprising to her. I see. You two, well, you get along so well that I thought... Right! What the hell? Back their story. I see. You two, well, see, get along. Nomicides have been known to move in together, you know. Oh, no. You naughty little lady. Look what you did to my friend. Look what you did to my guest. Everyone's doing it. It's like clockwork these days. Whenever anyone said something like this to La, she invariably blushed and furiously at that in a matter of seconds. Have you been one for long? Nyomnisai, that is. Oh no, I've just wrapped up my first year of service, actually. I see. Wait. Okay, so how long have you been one? About 3 years, I think. We talked about this and that until it became very dark outside indeed. Lips stood and indicated that she'd better be heading home. Alright, I'll walk you to the station. Lips nodded sadly. La piped up. She said she wanted to come along too, but I made her stay at home. I expected her to argue, but she looked up to me at once, closed her eyes and nodded. How about the goddamn envelope? She walked along for a while and said nothing. Lips kept her eyes fixed on Jackal. I kept mine on the road ahead. When we reached the corpse of the trees, she began to talk. Okay. Dinner was delicious. You have to tell La thank you for me. Wait. I came to thank you in the first place, and now, I suppose. Enough small talk. I'd like you to return what you took from me. And what might that be? You know as well as I do. We've been holding on to something of mine ever since we bumped into each other at the Roma today. She stopped, held out a hand expectantly. I sighed and smiled bitterly. You say that so shamelessly, as if you have nothing to hide. But tell me, what were you doing with a gun anyhow? She'd been concealing it earlier at Roma, but it was obvious when I bumped into her. Which was why I picked her pocket without a second thought. What are you doing? How did you do that? Because no other than military personnel was supposed to have access to firearms in this town. How? Your heart is as black as your hands, isn't it? Eh? Whoa. There you go. Your heart is as black as your hands are sticky, I see. I'm afraid you ought to be a lot more careful about concealing something like this. You're not getting it back, sorry. It's for self-protection, I swear. Please give it back. Self-protection against whom, I wonder. This town is a peaceful place. Or at least, it would be if it's not for you and your friends. Oh, they're the bombers! I brought the envelope out of my pocket. Lips went pale and then started clenching her teeth. Did you read it? Obviously. This is a member list of your terrorist cell, isn't it? Makes me wonder why you even bother. So much for secrecy. Although these are all code names, so there's no way I'd know who these people really are. Give it back! So you're either a secret agent investigating the bombings, or you're one of the terrorists. And I happen to know you're no secret agent. She clenched her teeth even harder. It was a wonder that there weren't even bits of animal flying everywhere by now. But for how hard she was grinding her teeth, her glare itself didn't have much or any bite, I was afraid. And what will you do? Nothing! I wonder. This isn't proof of anything after all. Besides, something isn't right here. There's no way you just leave this lying at the aroma, and yet you did. What? Yes, exactly! What?! Wait, that's... Which means it was intentional, or that you're stupid beyond salvation. Clever of you! So you played the dumb in front of La, and yet you knew all along. No, actually, I had no intention of hiding my cards. Besides, La knows a lot more than she lets on. You'd be surprised. In any case, I'll be holding on to this. And you're going to. You're free to do what you want, of course, but just remember, so am I, and I won't hesitate if need to be. I put the envelope back in my pocket and walked away. Lip stood there for a long time. She didn't look like she really grasped what just happened. The last I saw her, she was trudging toward trolley station in darkness. Hi. My feet. You like my feet? Nah, don't do that. Things were quiet for a time. That's painful. The days went on without fuss. La went on enjoying everything she could. I went on wondering what kind of use I was as a guide. There's no news of bombings. There's no news of bombings, or the terrorist groups, or of death. No news of lips, either. She stopped coming to Aroma altogether. Well, what did I do? My daughter's taking with my grape juice. Brooke was a little depressed? Heartbroken? No, make that insanely unhappy about that last bit. Yeah, I know, that's your butt. The next time I bumped into her was almost a week afterwards, in broad daylight. We finished eating lunch at Aroma, as per usual, and we were wandering around the area when La found a bookstore. Now, La loved books. She read them voraciously, no matter what genre they were. Short fiction, non-fiction, horror, romance, science, fiction, fantasy. She devoured them all. Speaking of which, I'm not taking her to the library yet. I promised her to do so some time ago, but then a lot, for instance, the bombings and lips happened. Which is why it totally slipped my mind until now. To be honest, I feel kind of guilty about that. If you find a book you want to read, come get me. I'll be waiting for you over there at the bench. La nodded with a smile and rushed into the bookstore. Such a simple thing made her happy. Made me wish I'd figure out that about her sooner or later. Then again, that kind of thing was that I never noticed until now. But this was the kind of thing that I never noticed until it was too late. Yeah. I looked over around the area. It was largely deserted here and there. People went about their business. One of them starts walking towards me. I looked closely. This was the face I knew. There she was, standing before me. I came looking for you after I heard from Rook that you'd gone out shopping. She asked me if the seat next to me was taken. I motioned her to sit. She sat down. Listen to me. They know about the least. I don't think they know that you have it, but they still careful. You haven't destroyed it, right? If you have, then I can't help you. No leverage, you see. So I hope for your sake. Oh, speaking of which, I'd like my gun back, please. No. I'm not giving you your gun. I'm not giving you your gun. No, I need it first. You sit there. It's too late for any of that. Okay. She narrowed her eyes. Obviously, she thought I set a trap for her or something. Oh my god, what is this?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Hi, Ant.
What?
There's an ant.
Huh?
There's an ant here. Yeah. She thought I'd set a trap for her or something. I just waved her into silence. Then I motioned her to take a look around us. A good long look. We were followed. Eh? I stopped her from trashing about though, obviously. Then I sighed deeply. Looks like you can't help me at all. I'm sorry. There was no point in getting angry at her at this point. In any case, one of our mysterious observers was hiding under the eaves of that building over there. But at that range, he probably couldn't make out a word of what we were saying. Oh well. Don't worry about it. I'll deal with this myself. You probably ought to go hide somewhere though. This might get messy. What makes you think I'll do that? I don't know. Give me my gun, please. I have no idea what you're planning on doing, but I'll tell you one thing, it won't work. Lips just clenched her teeth for a while. Seemed like forever. Finally, she nodded, stood, and left. And although they were trying to be inconspicuous, it was obvious that several people were trailing her. One of them, the man from before, stayed in the air. He was obviously focusing on me, so I gave him no reason for suspicion. I waited for law there, and soon enough she came running towards me with a heavy-looking bag in her hands. How many books did you get? I found lots of books. They all look so fun! Makes me really happy. For a moment, I forgot all my troubles and smiled back at her. But she'd already caught on something was up. She looked up at me gravely. I stood up and we began walking down the street. Sure enough, we were being followed. Iris, was that lips with you? Yeah, it was. It seemed she was in a real hurry. I see. She stopped and looked back for a second. The disappointed obvious on her face. Really quite amusing to watch the man almost jump out of his seat and then duck into his car for cover. Hola, I have something to do. So would you mind waiting for me at Aroma? That's fine, but I smiled ambiently. I didn't want to say much more about her about what was going on at this point. So we headed over at the Aroma. Now, obviously, the people who were telling me knew about Aroma. They had to, given that they originally been after lips. But Rook could probably take care of one guy easily, then some. So after I disposed her inside, I walked back up. My shadow looked a little confused as to whether he should stay and observe La or follow me. Eventually, he chose to come after me. I lost him fairly easy as I made my way back through the back alleys of the 6th Street. This old quarter of 6 was a maze of twisty passage all alike. It was hard to find your way even with a map, even if you don't know the area. I wasn't sure that this would be enough, but sure enough, no sign of my father. Even less intelligent than I expected. So I doubled back and started trying him. He found his way back to 6th Street main promenade now. He walked toward the trolley station and then went right past, heading for 5th Street on foot. 5th Street was filled with residences. Of course, happened to live in one of these when I wasn't on duty. The man looked to his left, his right. Behind him, he was obviously spooked. Finally, he shrugged and walked into an old apartment complex. I found a hiding place and waited, but my shadow did not reemerge. Instead, it was another man who stepped into the daylight. A man whose face I knew. He headed down the street and into the trolley, and stopped my pursuit at this point. There aren't many passengers on the trolley, even on heavy days, so I didn't want to risk discovery. Because if I knew who he was, the opposite had to be true as well. Law was nowhere to be found by the time I got back to Roma. What did you do? My heart sank. I turned to Rook. Asked him what happened. Oh yeah, the lady whose own jackal came by a bit ago. Said you had something of hers that she needed. Double quick. So La went her and to find ya. Why that's... You moron! I spent out of the place before Rook could finish his sentence. It's too late now. But for crying out loud, I should have told Brooke that something was up.
With this.
What?
With this.
Oh no, what'd you do?
With this.
Oh.
Down.
Oh no, I forgot that too. I forgot this part of the story existed. No. No. Look up. Now where it's wetter under the sea. Under the butt.
On the vision.
Under there. Go. Lips probably thought that their list and the gun were at our place on 8th Street. No wonder, that's why she went after La. I caught the next trolley in 8. The train hadn't even stopped when I jumped off and started sprinting down the streets. When I got to the corpse of the trees, I noticed a profusion of footprints, all around, big ones and little ones. La, it's just getting worse and worse. I checked to see that I had the gun on me and get ready to whip it out at a moment's notice. And kicked open the door to our place. Great! Oh my god, you're furiously angry! Oh my. The house was completely silent. It had always been ransacked. There wasn't a soul around anymore. No, actually, Lips was sitting motionlessly on the living room floor, although I was beginning to doubt that she had a soul. Lips! What did you do to her? Oh my god! Look at you, you scary ass! She looked up slowly as if her mind was swimming in mud. And her eyes wide open, she took my arm and refused to let it go. She was shaking. My god, I'm so sorry. I thought I'd lost him for sure. But, great, she was going to have to calm down. Now! We're just wasting time here. Although I did have a crucial piece of evidence now. She'd been followed to our place. That's why the terrorists knew to strike here. Wow. Wow! What is this? This is a new side of the picture. I forgot already. Sorry about that. I think I'm fine now. She let go of my arm, took a big breath, 2 peak view breath steps, big breaths, and began to explain what happened. So I came to your place. I want to get my gun back from you, at the very least. But the moment I got to our house, a couple of men from the group rushed me. 3, maybe 4. They took me down pretty quickly. Lau tried to help me, but she was taken hostage, wasn't she? Most likely. They'll probably demand the list in exchange for her. And do you know where they are? I have no idea. They've been operating from an apartment on 5th, but they know something's up now. If they're intelligent and all, they'll have moved to another safe house by now. Wait, now what? If I proceeded about this with the wrong way, Lau was going to be in grave danger. I couldn't just sit here and do nothing. I'm sorry. This all happened because I was sloppy. So I'll make things right somehow. I'll be fine. You're always sloppy, she said as she got up from the floor. She certainly didn't look fine. Her face was pale and her legs were shaking a bit. I sighed and stopped her before she went out the door. I appreciate the sentiment, but you better stop. But if you fail, then you won't be the only one who dies. La will too. So that's quite enough out of you. Wow, you're so calm. She looks like you to cry, out of frustration and anger. I surveyed the wreckage around the room. Poor La. All her tidy housework gone to waste. Our assailants had obviously been very thorough in their search. But I have to do something. We have to save La. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Well, Lips just shook her head violently. It's my fault that all this happened. Yes, that's true, but there's something else. She knew about me. She knew everything. And she still tried to rescue me. So you told her about the group then? Yes. There wasn't any way I could avoid it. She made me say everything. Just what it was you'd taken from me. Just how dangerous it would be. Then she brought me to your place. They tried to make me hostage too. But she assured them that she'd be sufficient. They believed her. Suddenly, a line from the book I once read flashed into my brain. Something about idiocy, claptrap, and hysterical folly. Roughly in that order. I also realized with drawing horror that it was just like La to do something like this. She's such a good girl. I love her in my own way. Aw. Consider her my friend. That's why I'm coming with you, whether you like it or not. Very well. Not like you take no for an answer anyway. Let's get going. Even if the group tries to contact us, they won't come here to do it. You have a telephone at your place? No, I don't find it necessary. Fair enough, not many people in the town had telephones. And the reason for that was simple enough. Many of our guests had an extreme aversion to them. And their incessant ringing. Then we'd better head back to Roma. I agree. If they decide to get in touch with us, it'll be there. Great. There's no point in searching around blindly. That would hurt more than it would help. So for now, we were gonna have to wait. I knew that. And intellectually, but still, emotionally, this was hard to take. Every moment we sat here still was another moment that was in the hostile party's hand. Great! My fears, however, were unfounded. Rook was waiting for us by the time we got to Roma. There had already been contact. They want you to bring the list to the old church on 5th in 1 hour sharp. Now, would you mind telling me what the hell is going on here? That's exactly what I did. Rook was more correct than he knew. This was hell, alright. I told him everything about the gun, the list, last kidnapping, and how about Liz was a member of the terrorist cell. Rook was completely blown away. You're really with them? No freaking kidding. No kidding. Although it seems I've become a traitor. It was starting to watch the way that Rook was stunning lips now. He wasn't just staring at her the way he usually ogled the beautiful young women. No, this was hard, emotional glare. He's pissed. He saved it for rivals and enemies like me. Sometimes, but I had no time for any of this today. I left Roma with lips hot on my heels. Rook looked like he wanted to come with us, but eventually I had him stay put. Now, it was true that someone had to stay behind in case there was any further contact, but still, I knew I was dealing him a harsh hand here. I know. I had started sewing by the time we made it to the trolley station. Neither of us had umbrellas. Our heads were dusty with snow. We didn't care. What are you, snowman? Lips kept paste at my side. Her eyes were straight forward. Her entire body was quivering with tension, and yet she seems far more at home within herself now than the first time I'd met her. Tell me, how come you're not asking me about the leader of the cell? Because I know who he is. I saw him myself. He's a high-ranking professor of the municipology. Never had a class on him though. Right. That's right. The man I saw coming out of the apartment on 5th Street. There was no mistaking him. Everyone in my class during my training days knew who he was. I figured like that would have access to every last operational file that HQ had to offer. No wonder nobody had been able to bring this terrorist to justice. And you don't want to know what our goals are? Not at all. I told you before, you're free to do as you please in this town. But if you place so much as a finger on my guess, and that's exactly what happened, then there'll be hell to pay. Lips looked up at me in silence for a while. Then she spoke in a voice as cold as steel. He's probably safe. He's not as horrible as you're making him out to be. Not horrible enough to hurt law. Just horrible enough to explode bombs on innocent people, eh? Why, I was impressed by his compassion, sorry. Lips saw the look on my face and smiled painfully. Very well. I see there'll be no convincing you. So I'll just tell you, whether you believe it or not, that's up to you. She looked up at the snow-laden clouds, as if this were to be the last time her eyes would see them, And then she started to talk. Total emancipation. They want to break down the bureaucracy. It clearly doesn't work. And the monumental side should serve anywhere and everywhere, not just in this isolated location. That's not doing us any favors at all. They constructed this town precisely because it was dangerous for Minominicides out in the real world. Powers of a Minominimi and his control over them were incredibly unstable. And on top of that, most people hadn't even heard of us. If people knew, then we were going to have a bloody uprising on our hands, nationwide. Perhaps. But according to him, he wants to make sure Minominus has power, enough power to help the weak. The weak are arrogant. I suppose his goal is to create a new trade-off network of Minomicides and profit until he's filthy rich. I wonder. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps not. Lips shook her head then, in a futile attempt to shake off the demons in her heart. There was nothing but confusion and anger lost in her eyes. I met him during one of our standardized patient encounters. I was just a student there, and he taught me so well. Speaking of which, you tell me? Ouch. How many years did you graduate in? 2. The Genius Accelerated course. Somehow not surprised, but you'll excuse me if I'm a little envious. Took me 7 years. In other words, I've been here far longer than you have. Lips laughed, her voice filled with self-derision. Sorry. Obviously, she knew that this wasn't something you boasted about. I entered the academy when I was 12. Oh God, it's long! 12, can you imagine that? I didn't know anything about Minomanside, the world, anything. On top of that, I was a dunce. No one liked me. No one held me along. I was so lonely. But he was the one. Who came and held my hand. He was the one who told me that it was okay. That it turned out fine. You're in love with him, eh? Wow. Oh my God, that's the truth, yes. Or was. Right now I have no idea. I don't know if I was really in love with him, or if I was just lonely and willing to accept any companionship that came my way. She kept talking, as if by doing so she'd be able to extract the purest darkness of her heart from the very words that fell from her mouth. Who was she conversing with now? Who was she listening to? Certainly not me. These are all things I've really come to hate about myself. I think it might be too late for me now. Would someone like you have any idea how that feels? Probably not. No, I understand. I love. Oh? Lips says with surprise, then she smiled, sorry. Oh good heavens. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? How come I can't be honest with myself, even in even one little thing? So that's why you left the list at Aroma. Though I should attempt to try and stop the cell from doing any more, isn't that right? That's right. I didn't have the courage to send it to HQ. But I was hoping if I got to know the owner of Aroma and accidentally left the list lying around, he would pick it up and take the appropriate steps. And I was pleasantly surprised too. He's a real nice guy. And I've caused him so much trouble now too. Now I was glad Rook wasn't here. Had he heard any of this, I think he had spiraled into an uncontrollable depression. Great. Or into an uncontrollable rage. Either way, something uncontrollable and bad. It would have been much better had she just been open and honest with us from the beginning. And the final nail in the coffin is, my powers are dying. How? How can it be dying? Back in the old day, I used to be able to pick up on people's thoughts a lot more easily. Nowadays, I can't even catch kids. You get kicked out of town if you're not a monogamous side anymore, right? That's why I wanted to put an end to this before I got deported. I see. I nodded. I had no idea whether it was a good idea to tell her what I was about to tell her. But she looked so sad and alone in that moment that I really didn't have a choice in that matter. I mean, the monogamous side's powers will inevitably fade when he is filled to capacity. What? Or at least that's what the text would say. Lips smiled ambiguously at this. Oh, you remember what's in the textbook? Turn out, the signs were obvious. She was close, very close. If she remained alone in this state for much longer, she was in danger of losing her powers permanently. In some ways, this was the happiest thing that could happen to her, or any Minomana side. Okay. No need to do the work job. Now we're in a church! They were waiting for us at the old church at Phipps. The professor and 2 others. Lau was lying motionlessly on one of the church benches. No need to worry now, son. I just drugged her, that's all. She hasn't been hurt. Oh my God, I see the professor's face. Ah, not again. The professor said with a smile as she ruffled La's hair. La shuddered a bit and then was still again. I rewrote the list. I took the envelope out of my pocket. I opened it up and unfolded a piece of paper and showed it to him. Good. Now hand it over, Lips. And hand it over to Lips and set it over here. Lips jumped in surprise. She stared hard at the professor and then she finally nodded. She decided at last. So she took the envelope and walked slowly to the professor's side. And he's gonna kill her, right? Her eyes, her face, her body, and there was bitterness oozing out of every pore as she approached her lover. She handed the envelope over to her and rushed directly to La's side. But the moment she knelt to examine La, one of the men pulled out a gun and held it to her head. Oh my god. Lips felt the ring of cold steel and turned to the professor. What are you doing? That isn't something a traitor has the right to know, lass. He turned to me, bringing his arm up to aim a gun at me. But I was faster. Mine was already pointed at him. Dun dun dun! wait. Dun dun dun! Why do both of you have the same stare cut? He stared at me as if he'd seen a ghost. Obviously, he hadn't expected this. And are you gonna shoot? Are you gonna try to kill me? That's my line, thank you very much. This isn't your lucky day. All I want is for my guest to be safe. And you happen to be in the way. The professor's mouth furrowed. He stared at me and told you please believe. He couldn't tear his eyes away no matter how hard he tried. He started trembling. Cold sweat started running down his face. He grew paler and paler. He looked cold. I simply stared back at him with a look that froze him to the spot. When I was younger, I was considered a crack shot with these. If this were a gunfight, you'd have no chance. My index finger tightened on the trigger. The professor gulped loudly. His eyes rolled upward, and then all consciousness and light faded from him. But you don't deserve that. Crashed to the ground. I fired a shot into Lip's captor's leg without a moment's hesitation. Whoa, the man doubled over. Lips sprung into action, jarred the man behind her off balance, stripped him of his gun and throwing him. While he was still in the air, she brought up a knee in the binding strike, right to his chin. Good night. Okay, that was a karate kick. He wasn't going to be seeing anything for a long time. Great! Impressive. Always impressive. So you can take care of yourself. This is nothing much. But that's not important right now. What about La? She pocketed the gun she'd taken from her side and gave him another kick for a good measure as he flopped to the ground. Then turned to look down at the fallen professor. Just a short bolus of amnesia. He'll recover soon enough. You're a dangerous man, you know. Your powers are even more so. That's precisely why I remained here. She nodded, so she finally understood. Tears were streaming down her face. What? How dangerous are you idiot? I didn't know if it was because she realized that she sold her lover out, or it was because she felt some pity for him in his prostration. I didn't know. I didn't care either. Because she stopped crying soon afterward. And she never cried again. Me English! La woke up in due course, and then we started hurrying home. A clean-up team from HQ would be here soon enough. Rook had taken care of all that, at least I presume. Oh wow, how embarrassing. I didn't want to cry. Were you watching? Lips said as she rubbed her eyes rim red. For once, La was walking a little bit behind me. She probably didn't feel so well right now. No, I wasn't. Which means I was, of course. Lips nodded a little crossly. A little while later, she nodded again. Came close indeed. She kissed me on the cheek. Wee! Wee! Oh my god, La, you're so jealous. Sorry, I happened to be looking sidelong at La at that moment, and I was amused to watch her eyes snap open as big as saucers. Be a good boy and forget from me, please. Aha. So this was why she called herself Lips. I nodded and smiled. La took offense at this, and went running past me as fast as her little feet could take her. Lips snuck her tongue out at me. Obviously, she was trying to taunt me, so I was in big trouble now, eh? I merely sighed and I said to her, I'm sorry, but that doesn't work on me. Although I think it might be better if we both forgot this little experience. I agree. I saw the new light in her eyes, at last she finally understood. It was okay for her to be free of that man's shadow. If you like, there's a much better man who I know who'd love to meet you. Although he's a pretty big rascal if you ask me. I'm looking forward to it. She smiled at me mysteriously, then looked up at the sky. The snow drifted down from the low-hanging clouds onto her hair and cheeks, and melted away. La remained silent the entire time, even after we parted with lips and we were well on our way home to the street. I was getting a little concerned at this point, so I said to her, "Hey La, are you mad?" "Oh yeah, she's mad!" La stopped in her tracks. "You jealous little kid." "What? What did you do now with the pen?" She turned to me, shook her head, and bit her lip. She was holding something in. But what was that something was, I had no clue. "No, not mad at all." "Not mad at all." Her voice grew smaller and smaller until it disappeared. Her eyes, too, looked lower and lower until they were busy studying her toes. Snow covered her hair and shoulders. It brushed past her pale cheeks. She looked cold, alone, and lost. "No, we're not like that, come on!" "Not mad at all. But don't know. Don't know what's what anymore." She put her hands on her heart, as if there was something massive and painful throbbing inside, away in her chest. And then I remember something I'd been wanting to say to her for a long time. "Ah, that was very dangerous, what you did. You could have been injured or killed had things not gone your way." "I know. But still, I thought I could escape. Didn't expect them to drug me." "That's not what I'm talking about." As my voice echoes across the frozen wasteland of the street we call our neighborhood, I finally realized I was the one who was mad, not her. "Oh, you man!" I was so worried. I'm so glad you're alright. I really am. "I'm sorry, Black Iris. I'm so sorry." "Oh, don't cry now, okay? If they find out that I make my guests cry, I'm sure they're going to do something really bad to me." La smiled and then slowly began wiping the tears from her face. I let out a sigh of relief. "Let's go home together. Let's go home and relax, okay? I'm totally exhausted. How about you?" "Me too. I'll cook up a nice dinner for you. You deserved it." "I love that." Wait a second. Right now, our place looks like a bomb. I forgot about the house. Oh no! Our place right now looks like a bomb went off in it. Oh, for crying out loud, I totally forgot about that. Exactly! I forgot about it! Oh, it's gonna take all night for us to clean up the mess. Ah, man! But that was okay. That was gonna be my side. We'd get through it. Although I would have preferred to eat her undoubtedly delicious dinner and go to sleep forever. Ah, man! I forgot about that! Oh, man. Oh, to be continued. And I'll end this episode right here. So, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, want to see the next part, just simply wave everyone like a social and hit the like button and the subscribe button to watch the next part. Until then, this is Natnarf signing off.
Bye-bye.
Oh, hello. Hello, little title. Girls say goodbye with a smile.
What? Turtle?
I said girls, not turtle.
Oh, girls.
Okay. That really is it. Bye.
Take the rest.